What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today, I'm Bancroft, joined once again by Jimmy and Nick.
Bancroft needs a carbon monoxide detector in his basement.
I think he just needs new batteries.
One way or the other. I don't know words. Today's matchup is me versus Jimmy. It was going to be blue on blue, but Jimmy said no, and he decided to play extra card Broly, which I think is a better matchup than just blue on blue. And I'm playing Stormfist Krillin. It's like always, just stuff down below. Click them, check it out, whatever. Here we go. Which we talked to how much I enjoyed extra card Broly. How much did you enjoy it?
I mean, I'm throwing cards. I'm mad about playing the damn deck. Uh, I think the deck is really cool, like design space wise. Like, I really like unique decks like this. It's just a little unfortunate that the way Dragon Ball Super is played as a game, decks like these tend to not be very strong. The only like extra card deck that we've seen that was actually meta relevant for a significant amount of time was Invoker. Um, and there's a reason that was really strong because the top end of that deck was just absolutely busted. Um, but we've seen Bandai be a little bit more reserved when it comes to printing um, extra card focused archetypes because they are difficult for your opponent to deal with because there's not a lot of cards that interact with extra cards. Um, so it's I totally get why they are so reserved with it, but I think they're really fun, and I was really excited to play Extra Card Broly when it was announced, and finally got the chance to put everything together and play it.
I will say I was completely jealous of your first turn because when I brought this deck the week before, I never once got a first turn like that. Like everything seemed like it went perfectly for you. And you all could see the match I think I recorded with Adam last week where I didn't see a paradox. Well, I didn't see a Paragus until like turn 4. And by that time
Mhm.
I'm already awakened. Like it doesn't really matter. I've moved on.
Yeah, like the extra cards in this deck, while some of them are very strong and then some of them are kind of lackluster, uh, it still runs into the same problem that any extra card heavy deck is going to run into, is that you can just brick on a hand of full extra cards. And while that sounds good because of the theme of the deck, most of the time that's a really bad thing. Um, but I think the extra card Broly deck tries to mitigate that by having those extra cards go under your leader and kind of be the second hand type thing. And it does feel a lot better. Your hand can consist of your battle cards like your Paragus and your Brolys and your super combos and stuff, while you have all your extra cards in another area. Um, so you don't get that like clogging feeling that you normally get. Uh, but yeah, like I opened like the perfect hand for a turn one, uh, and that's just a straight RNG thing. The first time I played this deck, I had a very similar situation to Bancroft, where like I opened, you know, 5 extra cards and a 3-drop Broly, and it's just, what do I do? Like, I'm just gonna sit here and watch you play Dragon Ball for a couple turns, and if I don't die, then maybe I'll, be able to uh, set up my defenses. But uh, yeah, like the deck feels really good when it works, and feels really bad when it doesn't. But I think that's any deck really. It's just this one has a much higher chance of not working.
Yeah, but you managed to get him back to back turns, which is just so annoying. I
Mm.
was actually expecting the villainous Broly to be dropped instead, but I forgot in the moment that the 3-drop can pop the Piccolo, which you just did successfully.
Mhm.
And I could have given the Piccolo barrier to protect it from any of your effects and force you to have to make a swing on it, but I wanted to start putting cards into my Z energy.
Mhm. Um, uh, I did have the villainous Broly in hand, and I did consider playing that. Um, but this is a Stormfist Krillin list, which you may have already seen. So I had no clue what this deck was going to do. I didn't know if it was going to be a blue control deck or if it was going to be very similar to like 3Han, where you were just going to blow up on me on like turn 3. So I wanted to leave that energy open to for my defense cards, mainly the Chilai wishing for the battle to end card should not have been printed. Stop giving green these dormant lights. It's kind of fucking annoying.
And before we went to anything, he does have the Zeal weaken first for that effect, but he can so easily do it if one energy now. He's at the life for it. You have the energy. You can do it if you wanted to. But you do Chila as 8 instead, which is a really good card. And just following up with a super combo, get you out of that first attack just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And now here on out, like I've already swung with the leader. I got that out of the way ahead of time because I had to awaken.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I swing with a Piccolo here, it's 20 on 20. So and you Z awaken on me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Wasn't expecting that, but I was, and I think I even said like, well, you lose your draws from here on out now. And you're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, like I mean, look at my hand. You can see it right under my leader.
Exactly. And here's I remembered that like, oh wait, I have my Broly deck on me. Here's the TCG metal leader and the acrylic Z leader.
Yeah, which the acrylic Z leader does look really fucking sick. I was kind of hesitant on picking up the one for my SS4 Gogeta deck, but after seeing it, I'm like, yeah, that's actually really dope.
I will bring the because you have the gold SS4 leader, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I will bring you the set 2 Vegito and show you those two because we have the gold version of that and the acrylic, and they overlap just like the SS4 ones would as well.
Yeah, that's just so sick to me. Like, again, not sponsored. I don't think, unless Bancroft has done something good, behind
just good buddies.
Yeah, TCG Metals always like does super dope shit. I actually used one of my my Gamma TCG Metals leader as my field center at a Yu-Gi-Oh regional that I went to, and like everybody was like, "Yo, what the fuck's that?" Like that's dope.
So to go over this interaction real quick, because of the whole like, I was bringing the Z leader out and the leader itself out. We forgot that we were in combo, and you're like, I'm activating. Like, hang on, I think we're still in battle. Hang on a second, because I wanted to make sure I used Sense Being to reset energy in case you were to play an 8 drop, so I could do the 30 burst. And I'm glad I called that beforehand. So now I have one open energy in case you want to play any of the lower cards to attack me with. But for right now, you can't swing because I think that's the one I can't counter against.
No, this is the one from the set. So it's a triple striker, and if he's removed, I can remove 5 extra cards from under him. So went ahead with the wishing for the battle in. It's just a negate, and your opponent can only attack 2 more times this turn, which is just gross, especially when you can follow it up with a double negate token.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the best way to do it. Unless I have a way of popping that token out of the way, I'm not getting any damage in this turn.
Which I'm very against this style of Floodgate. I don't like when cards say your opponent can't. I don't like playing with them or playing against them. I think cards like Topo, which, and I do remember my charge here in Bancroft was like, yeah, just go ahead. We were getting very distracted with other things going on in the shop at this time. But I think cards like Topo, where it incentivizes your opponent not to attack, but it says they can't not attack. I think cards like that are a lot more fun to play with and play against, in my opinion, than just your opponent can't attack. Which green needs something, but it's not that, like, you know.
So I want to go over this real quick. The triple strike Broly has a great recovery play for it, which if it were to be removed, you take the up to 5 card. You take 5 cards underneath it, put it in your leader. It protects it pretty much. I know at any moment you could just activate out of control on it if you wanted to and keep it alive. So I had to be very careful on how I played my turns from here on out because I wanted to snipe that card first before you activate your effect. That way I was kind of more guaranteed that if you were to snipe it, we're almost in an even playing field at that point.
Um, and this match, spoiler alert, I do attempt to activate out of control. And I had no fucking clue how that card worked. So we do walk it back when that happens. We'll point it out then. But
Yeah.
Such a weird card. Like,
Yeah.
it's a field nuke, but like it also hurts you unless you set yourself up well. Like, I think it's kind of a cool design. I like that.
So I hoped the card specifies you have to choose a Broly BR card, unfortunately, if I recall correctly. Because I don't think it's any good card. I think it's a Broly card. I might be mistaken. Actually, I'll double check it real quick.
Yeah, I know it's leader card. I think you can target your leader card as well.
Yeah, you can choose. I think it's either your leader card Broly or your battle card Broly. And if I'm correct on this, I was upset because I was like, man, I really want to play the new Cell Secret Rare in this deck. It gives you a guaranteed way to pop that card with a skill, and it's a 40k, so I mean it's nuking the board then at that point, and then you could proc this the card Cell, which would then I think hit barrier cards.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not the case. Because that's a little much, but yeah, I guess that would be kind of neat, huh?
Activate. Boom, boom, boom. You want to choose one of your leader or no, sorry, it does. I think I originally thought you could. So yes, no, you could choose any your leader card or battle cards. So you could choose the Cell Max card in that instance. Let me pull up Cell Max again because I can't remember exactly. I think it hits barrier cards. Yeah, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and barrier kingdom. So that way, it's kind of like you can swing with the quad strike, and then afterwards you just activate out of control to kind of like just clear the board if they have a problematic board. So here's I mentioned earlier, I was trying to like snipe it, and oh yeah, you were trying to activate out of control here, and
yeah,
I was like, that does kill
good.
it as well.
Yeah, after you hit it with the Kefla, I was like, oh, sweet, I could just pop the field now, and it's like, oh wait, no, I can't do that, can I? And here for the Frieza, you do have to pitch the Z energy. I do catch that on the next turn, and I do pitch the Z energy there. Like I said, a lot of confusion and a lot of stuff going on in the shop at this moment. So
you have a very good board control right now, and I completely forget about this. I always forget about the set 6 Broly having the ability to activate battle. Discard a card from your hand, pop a card. I can't remember if it's a specific cost or not, but the idea that it's a way of sniping another card off the board is so frustrating. And I think you did to hit my Piccolo already, unless you got that with the freeze. I can't remember exactly.
I believe I used the Frieza. And this Golden Frieza, this card is so damn good in this list. I think it's also just good in just about any green list. Of course, if you don't have an 8-drop on field, you do have to pay the 2 cost for it.
It works perfectly for this deck too, because once you Z Awaken, wishing for the battle in sometimes can feel like a trap to use, because you have to force yourself to go to a Z Awaken to just even activate it to begin with. And I've seen a lot of people talk about like just not playing that card entirely. But if you get to a point where you're Z Awaken, it's a great way to slow your opponent down from hitting you. And this particular promo card does not get KO'd on the turn it's played, or it can't be KO'd on the turn it's played. And it's initially a dual blocker, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, when you activate blocker, you'll switch it to active mode. So the next 2 attacks after a wishing for the battle to end, they're just null and void.
And it worked out so great because I had nothing else to attack with. So like I had to play a card if I want to even get an attack out on you.
Mhm.
So Bancroft, with your list, a lot of blue, most colors these days are just running mock colors. Was there anything you in particular why you were running blue yellow? Was it just for that Kefla?
Um, it Yeah, it was pretty much Kefla. No, actually, it started off.
Damn.
No, it actually started with this Krillin. So I built this deck in 15 minutes for coming to this shop, and I'll go over it later. There's a key card that I'm missing from it. Actually, it was during this turn when you activate wishing to the battle in. You stopped and you said, "Is that good?" Because I had 5 open energy. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't have a counter in this deck." I forgot to put the golden ape in this deck. Like literally spent 15 minutes putting this deck together. But I remember like I was like, oh man, I just want to play a bunch of cards from the current set or cards from other sets that I didn't really see a lot of that didn't get a lot of play. One of them is this 18. I haven't seen any deck really play this 18, but it requires a Krillin to be on the board to give its benefit. I think on the board to give it the crit and I think a 5k boost. And I was like, oh yeah, there's the Krillin Z battle card. Okay, so yellow. I can splice in yellow. And I'm going through all the cards. I'm like, oh yeah, Zamasu is a great counter play card. And I was like, wasn't there like a Kefla that Fluff used to like? So I looked through all the cards. I'm like, oh yeah, here's the Keflas. And it just kind of became a blue-yellow deck. I might improve on it and bring it at some other point just to play some fun battles and maybe do a profile on it. But as of right now, it needs some work. Like I said, I forgot the most important blue card in the whole game, which is the counter.
Yeah, and even after you said it, I thought you were going to try to Bancroft me, and so every single time I would activate a counter, I was just sitting there looking at you, and I was waiting for you to go tap your energy.
Yeah. So here's the situation. I got a chance to play this. I had to get these back from Nick because I haven't found my extra ones yet. This Rose Goku, everyone plays it. It's a good card. I'm like, I need to play it too. I just need to play cards that I haven't played yet because I also haven't played Blue in a while. And I'm going for game here, and I'm like, wait, you said what? Oh, okay. I just screwed myself. Completely
like,
forgot that that's an activate battle again.
like I think part of the reason that a lot of people forget about that activate battle is when the original run of this deck, that didn't matter. It was just it's a 30k double striker or 35k double striker. That's what matters. But it's fantastic in this extra card Broly list because you can play it for 1 and you have defense and offense. Like, card's crazy good. And I was able to see my secret rare. It was my 3rd to last life. My deck is very thin at this point, and I had not seen it yet, so I knew it was in my life. But I got it just in time to snipe the big boy, and it felt really good. I like that secret rare a lot.
No, it's a good one.
It feels really fucking cheesy.
I asked you, I think it'd be a match. I'm like, the question is, which secret rare are you playing? Are you playing the counter secret rare, or are you playing some other secret rare? And you're like, I don't know. And yeah, so I kind of called it early on, but like this match and all the tomfoolery was happening around the shop, I completely forgot that was an option. And I went to like, oh, let's hatch it. And I paused. I'm like, he's tapping energy. Oh shit. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below, there's stuff in the description. Check them out, whatever. Thanks for tuning in, and bye.